So how were you able to outgrow what you were taught? Like, I don't know exactly what you were taught. Like, obviously, you're not racist.
Yeah, it's bad shit. Some very bad shit is what I was taught.
Yeah. So how were you able to do that? Because I think
Shit.
that's really really important. Because I think that
Yeah.
that people, you're a product of your environment at the end of the day, and I think that
Yeah.
like I listen to you and Haley talk all the time, and like you guys have done the deep work, right? Like very few people are willing to look in the mirror and be like, I am not what has made me, right? Like, and I don't want to just believe these things that are always on my brain. So
Totally.
how are you able to shake that? Like, when did that start for you?
Probably in grade school, honestly. Like my parents were definitely like preaching kind of racist ideology to my sister and I, but like we grew up
And
in
you never believed any of that when they were saying it to you when you were young?
I mean, yeah, when I was like a tiny kid, probably. But then like I got into grade school and my parents lived in Dallas at the time. So like my schools were big. They had a lot of kind of kids of all kinds of different everythings. And I had friends who weren't white. And my dad was telling me like they're pieces of shit. And I'm like, but I like hanging out with them. What are you talking about? You know, like
Yeah,
that's
yeah.
my buddy. And especially playing sports. Growing up in Dallas, Texas, it's like you have every variety
Yeah.
of person on your team. And like if you're truly like on a football team, I mean, you know, I played football, I played baseball. It's like you are rooting those people on. You want them to succeed so that your team wins. And so you have like a vested interest in the well-being of that person, both for what they're doing in the team, psychologically. You want them to be like happy and healthy so that they play well on your team just at a base level. But you also become like close friends with people on your teams because you're spending so many hours practicing, playing, going to the games. You're sharing the emotional highs and lows of wins and losses and all that shit with these people. They become like your family if you're on an athletic team. And so for me, it was like that was a big piece of it, I think. But then also, you know, at some point you fucking start dating people that are outside your race and shit, and you're just like, well, this is stupid. What the fuck are they talking about? So yeah, it was a pretty like easy thing to shirk. And to some degree, I don't even know if my parents like fully believe it. It's just been a part of their like perceived identity for so long that to reverse it now would be I think they believe it would be some kind of like betrayal of their own idea of who they
100%,
are.
yeah. It's so funny, dude. I'm thinking about you doing the work to think about where your dad's from. Your dad moves out of that place, moves you guys to Dallas. And a lot of the reason why you're not like him is because of him and then giving you a better opportunity, right? Isn't that crazy to think about? Like, you guys moved to Dallas. Now you're around lots of different people and you're exposed to them, and your humanity is what's driving you, not some ideology that somebody's teaching you. And it sounds like, unfortunately, like your dad has some stuff like being adopted and all this stuff. That's like a lot that you have to dig through. And I imagine at his time they didn't have the resources that we have now to be able to dig through that stuff and have support and know that it's
100%.
actually it takes actually a real man to like look in the mirror and deal with that stuff. You know what I mean? And I'm sitting there thinking about your parents giving you and Haley a better opportunity living in this city, and now you're exposed to things, and now your humanity is what's driving you to see that people are good. It doesn't matter what color they are. Humans are humans, and unfortunately they weren't taught that. And it's just like, I even think about my parents, how for me, like my parents didn't have a lot of education. My mom had me when she was 15, and you know, my mom I always said my parents they did what they had to do. Parents, you know what I'm saying? And like they got us out the hood. I first want to graduate high school, go to college, so they did what they had to do. But now I feel like I'm healing a lot of things in our relationship to where, not because I can understand really quickly why they did the things that they did when we were young. Now it's more like, okay, how do we work on like the emotional side of things that now we can have a conversation without me feeling like it's really hard for you to accept that I'm an adult. You know what I'm saying?
100%.
So I'm always going back and forth with that stuff with my parents. And as I hear you say, like, yeah, I didn't become, you know, racist or have these views because I was exposed to things. So would you say like being exposed to things is a way to cure that for people in general? Like, instead of having these ideas, like go out there and see things?
I think so. I mean, it's hard to say. Like all these things we're talking about are like very individual attitudes and stuff. You know, I think every person's different, obviously. But yeah, I mean, for sure, there are relationships, friendships, romantic relationships I've had that were I won't even say like eye opening. They were just kind of like proof that the shit my dad is saying is completely wrong. You know, that's
Yeah.
and once you're faced with that, you have to go through all these kind of hoops to be like, well, wait a minute. If my dad is fucking wrong on this, what else is he wrong about? Can I trust anything he's saying?